Would everyone please rise for a moment of silence? Thank you. Please continue to stand for the playing of our national anthem. Thank you for gathering here in a quiet, respectful manner. I'd like to welcome you to our 9/11 ceremony. Let's start by thanking the board members and the district administrators for joining us. On the field with us are representatives in the Exeter Township Police Department, the Exeter Township Fire Department, and Lifeline Emergency Services. Thank you for being here. September 11th was a beautiful summer day. Our country and world suffered a shock to terrorist attacks. The World Trade Center, the Pentagon, and Flight 93's crash in Pennsylvania. For your parents, teachers, and myself know exactly where we were when we heard the shocking news that morning. It was my first year teaching. I was in second period in what is now weight room. I just remember being in shock. For that moment for me, and for many Americans, time stood still. Days that unfolded after that event were filled with uncertainty. As a nation, we grieved, and as the tragedy often does, brought us closer together as a nation. Now, we are more than 2 decades out. Students, none of you were alive in 2001, but all of us lived in the shadow of that day. We realize the ongoing challenge of terrorism. We encourage you to take the time to speak to your teachers and parents about their experiences and memories from that day. First responders, soldiers who made great sacrifices on 9/11 and every day since then deserve that we take the time to learn, to understand, and to reflect. Thank you for coming together as a community to do just that. Now I am honored to introduce one of our guests today, Pennsylvania State Senator Judy Schwenk. Senator Schwenk has been a dedicated public servant for many years, passionately representing our community. Senator Schwenk.
Mr. Vecchio said, Those of us that were there when it happened, that were here living in our community, I was a county commissioner at the time, so I was involved in local government. We distinctly remember every moment of that day. And for me, the ability to remember this in a way that we come together as a community is so important. And as a school district, to be able to understand it's part of the education for all of you, so that this is an ancient history. This is something that you keep in mind and that you remember, even as you grow into adulthood. So thank you so much for giving me that opportunity. It just doesn't feel like the kind of day that you just go into your office and just do what you normally do and not remember the impact of what happened as a student. So today, we gather here to remember all those lost to senseless acts of terror on September 11, 2001. More than 2 decades ago, a radical group of terrorists sought to shake our country to its very core by launching coordinated attacks against land targets in the United States, which resulted in the loss of thousands of lives. Please understand that not since World War II, Pearl Harbor, was there an attack of this magnitude on our very soil here in the United States. It was just something that most of us at the time couldn't even fathom. And today, those harrowing events still reverberate throughout the American consciousness. Over 20 years later, we struggle to find ways to cope and comprehend this reality, and everything has changed for us. Despite the terrorists' intent to weaken the American spirit, those attacks failed because that day united us more together as one nation under one flag. I had the privilege of visiting Flight 93 Memorial in Shanksville, Pennsylvania, one of the sites where a plane went down, just a few months after the incident happened. And then I had the opportunity to go, not too long ago, a year ago, and see the difference in the memorial that is being created in National Park Literally to help people understand what happened. And it's as moving to be there now as it was when I was there afterwards. The courageous sacrifice of the passengers and crew members was on great display and offered a somber reminder that epitomized our ability to lean on each other and fight through the darkest of times. Their sacrifice reminds us that it's important now, more than ever, to come together to support each other. In our society today, where it seems like we're fighting against each other in many ways, it's easy to get caught up in the politics and attack neighbors as if they're the enemy. This is a day to remember we are all Americans. We live under one flag and for one country. However, we'll push past our differences and see each other as fellow Americans, all rooted in a common mission to uphold our democracy and to continue making America a shining example, beacon of liberty and freedom for the entire world to admire, just as all those who died on September 11th did. I told you earlier that everything changed. One of the things that changed, and I'm so glad that they are behind me, that our first responders, the kind of respect that people began to feel that they so deserved, and perhaps didn't vocalize it as much. That was one of the positive outcomes then from September 11th attacks. We honor everyone who sacrificed their own lives to those in danger that day. All the brave firefighters, police, emergency medical personnel who ran into the depths of smoke, rubble, and darkness to save innocent lives and show compassion and kindness to those affected, whether it was at the World Trade Center or whether it was at Shanksville where volunteer firefighters needed to respond and state police, or whether it was at the Pentagon where Army personnel or military personnel were there to help. It's also important that we understand understand that their sacrifices, the spirit of their sacrifices, live on deep within the hearts of generations of Americans who need to remember their sacrifice as a lasting tribute of the ultimate service to one's community and country. Immediately after the attacks, one of the things that happened was that so many volunteer fire companies as well as professional firefighters got in their vehicles and jammed the interstates and throughways trying to get to New York City or to get to the Pentagon or Shanksville to try to help. It was just an amazing thing to see. Unfortunately, there wasn't much help to be offered in the aftermath of those attacks. So despite the painful memories, that day taught us to cherish and honor who put their lives on the line to ensure our safety and well-being. And their sacrifice is a testament to their valor and commitment to the common good. And we should not forget as well all of the men and women who volunteered, many of them already in the armed forces, and so many more who decided this was the day I'm going to sign up for military service, and valiantly traveled to Iraq and Afghanistan to bring perpetrators of those attacks to justice. So, on this day, we renew our commitment to support all the men and women who serve their community and nation as emergency responders and members of the armed forces. For your sacrifice, we thank you. No words can do justice to just how grateful we are for your service. As Mr. Becchiel mentioned, 23 years ago, none of you were alive. Maybe even some of the teachers were just infants or very, very young. And so it becomes something that we tend to reflect on as in the past. But the whole world has changed as a result of that. And we face so many different challenges today, but nonetheless, we face challenges that we are going to have to try to protect and defend our country. We need to be up to it. And I know by being here today, all of you who are here to commemorate what happened on that day, that it's just a memory for you, but so important of a memory for many of us, or something that we just read about, that you will work to continue to help bring our country together, to make sure that we can tackle those challenges together. Again, I'm so pleased, students, teachers, faculty, for all of our first responders that are here today. So pleased that you have made this effort, and I hope this day makes an impact. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Senator Schwenk. At this time, we will have a moment of reflection featuring a violin and cello duet performed by Esteban Ruiz on violin and Harrison Brumbaugh on cello. Thank you, Esteban Harrison. I would like to thank all of our first responders for all they do with our community. We have the Exeter Township Police Department, Lifeline, EMS, and the Exeter Township Fire Department. We are honoring one of our police officers today. I would like to introduce Detective Sergeant Rocco DiCamillo of the Exeter Township Police Department, who will talk about the amazing work of this year's honoree and will present him with an honorable flag.
Good morning, Exeter. This morning I have the privilege to honor one of our Exeter police officers. He served in the Marine Corps in 2007 through 2011 as a sergeant in the 8th Communications Battalion. He forward deployed into with the 22nd Marine Expeditionary Unit in support of Operation Enduring Freedom for support in Afghanistan. And this morning we honor Patrolman Frank Santiago, who is one of our canine officers. He joined the Exeter Township Police Department in 2020, and before that he worked for the Berks County Sheriff's Department. In 2023, he was assigned with his canine partner Rico, and their canine team Rico is a trained narcotics detection dog. So this morning it is my privilege to honor Patrol Officer Frank Santiago.
We would like to thank the Police Department, Lifeline Emergency Services, and the Exeter Township Fire Department and the men and women of our military for all they do. Thank you, Mrs. Lake and your Emergency Services Club, for your decorations and your assistance. Thank you to our talented music department, Ms. Selke, Mr. Albright, and their students for their musical performances. Grounds crews, teachers, staff, and students, thank you for joining us today. I would also like to thank our board and administration for all they do. We all need to remember 9/11 and all the sacrifices of our first responders and all Americans that were affected by that tragedy. This concludes our 9/11 ceremony.